Trapping.
Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to Saturdays at the Boys podcast. I'm Jacob, and I'm here with
Kirby.
Yeah. So
I say that like the fucking disabled kid from South Park. Timmy.
yeah, and so as you guys know,
Also, I like to use myself like that next time. Fucking Kirby.
so as you guys know, we take the first 5 minutes to talk about whatever, and then the last 5 minutes to talk about whatever, and then we get into the actual topic, or we'll just kind of talk about whatever throughout the episode. I figure. I've noticed that's kind of, yeah.
Yeah, we've done that a few times where we've gotten sidetracked about talking about each other's life. We're just making jokes the whole time.
Yeah, and I kind of like that we do that because it makes it more fun other than just trying to stay on one topic. Even though we do talk about the topic, we just kind of put like side notes in there.
Yeah, it's like the topic's still there, but then there's us just still being friends.
Yeah, and so it's a special episode because we made it to episode 70.
Wow, 30 more.
30 more, and we'll hit the big ol' 100.
Man, I wonder when that's gonna be.
I actually went to the calendar and I actually counted like each Saturday to get to a 100. And it's actually perfect because the 100th episode is going to be on the very last episode of 2023 this year, December 30th.
No fucking way!
Yeah, it lines up perfectly.
That's the best, dude. We could stream that until New Year's night, and that way it's our 2-year anniversary of friendship.
Yeah.
Bro, look at us. Bro, the stars aligned perfectly. We did this specifically on your birthday, so it could be on our anniversary. So are you gonna get me this friendship anniversary?
It'll be, what, 2 years this December?
Yeah. Dude, it felt like the first year that I met you felt so much longer than 1 year.
Yeah. Do you know,
like, it felt like I knew you forever at that point.
Do you know what's funny? Because I met Hunter at the beginning of December 1st, and then I met you on December 31st.
Wow.
Yeah, so this December it'll be 6 years since I met Hunter, and then it'll be 2 years since I met you.
Call me crazy, but it feels like we were just destined to be friends.
Yeah.
Like, it all happened so oddly. Like, Zach went to my school. I met Hunter while I was working at Spencer's. Your sister knew my sister. So I already knew Hunter. You already knew Hunter. I already knew Zach. You already knew Zach. And then we just so happened to meet each other through our sisters that it just all was like Spider-Man somehow. He really just went, I got you, Gwen Stacy, and just went...
And I remember that day too. Because it was for my 17th last year.
Yeah, and it was for your 17th.
Yeah, and then you were the first to show up, and then and I think it was and then it was Zach, and then I remember you guys being like, "Wait, I know you."
Yeah, because he was sitting next to Cody during this Christmas event that my school was holding in the mall. So I saw him and I was like, hey, nice Naruto hat. And I did like the Sam side. I thought that was so cool. He's like, oh, Cody, you see that? Because he thought it was the coolest shit. So I kind of like talked to him for a little bit. I thought he was a little bit of a nerd, like a mega nerd. So I was like, okay, he might be a little too much for me.
Yeah.
And then when I met him at your party again, I was a little bit like, this guy's a little rowdy still.
Yeah.
But then just getting to know him more and more, he's just been such a fucking awesome guy.
Yeah, it was funny. And then when Hunter showed up, you were like, I saw you. Like, you guys like also saw.
Yeah, no, at first you were like, oh no, we never. He was like, do I know you? At first I was like, no, I haven't. And then I started thinking back. I was like, wait, no, I hit on your girlfriend. And it's like, yeah, man. And I was like, how's she doing? And she said, I was like, how have you fucking been? And I was taller than what I once was in November when I met him. So I was kind of like eye level with him finally, because he was like a foot taller than me when I met him.
Yeah.
Because I was short.
Yeah, and then Jesse came, and then you all kind of you got him in there too.
Yeah, he got really busy though, unfortunately.
Yeah. And so, like, I haven't seen that dude in almost a year. Like, I haven't seen him since I moved.
That's right.
So I'm just like, like this summer, hopefully, like I'm gonna be there for like 6 weeks, at least. So.
Dude, I'm so excited about that, and I'm hoping that my parents allow you to stay for a little while with me.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, just if you are staying with me for a little while, just do like what my parents ask and like do chores.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do dog poop and you probably don't have to mow, but if they're asking to like help with the kitty litter or the trash usually, or like just cleaning,
Yeah.
or dishes, like stuff like that.
Yeah. And
So like if you wouldn't mind that, then you could probably stay with my parents for a few weeks.
Alright. And
Because my parents knew about Kyra and Red, but they just kind of didn't like Red because Kyra and Red always had drama and you and me never really have beef with each other.
yeah.
I think the only thing is we get frustrated with each other over fucking video games. Us two specifically. Over that one fucking speed glitch that one fucking spooky bitch with a cross had.
Oh yeah, Marta.
Yeah, fucking, she was so quick, bro. She was like LeBron James in his prime. The way she was running. She'll run she a track star. She don't run away when she get hard.
Yeah, so you good?
I hit my fucking knee.
Alright, so the topic for this week is Victorian era.
Bro, should I get my fucking, what is it, tailcoat on for this?
I mean, if you want.
My tailcoat on, my leather gloves,
Oh god.
my fucking straps, my dress shoes, and I dress like a fucking butler from Queen Victoria the First.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, so actually, if you look up like Victorian area, something that actually is kind of true about it is like a vampire kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if you also really want to think about it, something about it is just those are about really dark times. And Victorian era lasts from not just from castles, but originated all around the world in places like Germany, Russia, France, to America, even a little bit to Canada, China, India, Asia, Japan.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, looking here. Alright. And check something real quick on the phone. Okay, I'm just checking something real quick. And Hunter's not with us this week because I guess he's in New Mexico. So that's interesting.
Yeah, Zach just got back from a trip up in Wyoming.
Y'all are all over the place.
I know, bro. Once Memorial Day hit, I was in fucking Estes.
Yeah. And then in a few weeks I'll be in Colorado, so that's exciting.
Yeah, and for this whole month, I'll be in fucking California.
Yeah.
So there might be a few times I might miss the podcast.
Yeah, but I'm sure we can figure something out when you're gone, and then when you come back, we'll just get back to the regular routine.
It's gonna just feel so weird to be away from Colorado for a month.
Yeah.
It was like the longest I have stayed away from it was a month, but that was because we were traveling.
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Like fucking, I would just lose my mind.
Yeah.
Well, honestly though, I'm so excited to ride my brother's dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro, they have dirt bikes, electric bikes specifically, and they have econ mode, and then they have a sports mode, so they can go up to 40 miles an hour.
Damn.
Yeah, and bro, they're so fucking fun on main roads, let me tell you.
And see, cause like, I've been to California before. It's just been a few years. I think the last time I was in California, I believe it was 2019. So I just turned 14, I believe, or was about to turn 14. And I think we went there because a few of Mom's friends were there and we were visiting, and we actually went to Disneyland. And so that was fun, but like, I feel like when I went to Disneyland, I feel like that was like only like a one-time thing for me, because holy shit, you have like almost like you have to like wait like an hour to get on like one ride because the line is so damn long. And not only that, freaking like there's a fuck ton of strollers. And that was like almost like the same thing when we went to Universal Studios. Like,
Bro, yeah, why do so many people on fucking vacation bring their babies? Bro, your baby cannot ride these fucking rides. Why would you bring such a useless thing? Get a babysitter, you broke bitch.
yeah, but apparently they got the money because they're bringing the whole fucking family to like Universal Studios and shit.
Yeah, those are Mexicans, bro. Ever notice that they say the ride in both English and Spanish?
Hi there. Keep your arms and legs inside of between at all times.
No mames, web is cut.
Yeah, but it's been like yeah, but it's been like 4 years since I was last in California. So a long time.
Bro, this chick I'm talking to, the only state she's been in is fucking Wyoming and Colorado.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, bro, you never went down south, you never went to the east, you never went to the west, you never went to the north, like, you just been here, there? Like, you're already kind of, like, not interesting.
I believe my first time traveling away from both like Colorado and Wyoming was probably when I was 12, and we came down here to Florida for spring break because we were going on a cruise.
I remember hearing about that from Red all the fucking time.
Yeah, and so and that was a cool experience. It's definitely one of like one of the most major things we did before our dad passed. That and camping one last time too. And so that was one, and then I believe 2018 was when we went to New York, because again, friends there, and we went to New York City and went to the Macy's Day Parade, and I got to see the Statue of Liberty, which was like a lifelong dream of mine ever since I was young for some reason, because I just loved the history. And then visited the
Because it was made by France, because you love surrendering.
and then I got to see the 9/11 memorial, which was just very satisfying to me, but at the same time just like, holy shit.
You mean the best Dude Perfect video memorial? The best trick shot video memorial, bro.
Oh my god.
Top 10 epic fails. Number 1, hitting the pentagon.
Oh my god.
Number 3, the first tower. Number 2, holy shit, it's a second tower.
Oh my god. And then
Number 4, Lyle, wake up to the TV, they hit the pentagon, they hit the fucking pentagon.
yeah, and then 2019 was California, 2020 was Florida before COVID, And
And then 2019 was the Area 51 raids.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Everyone saying they would go raid Area 51, making a fucking day. And then when it happened, like, fucking only like 100 people showed up and only like one of them pissed on the walls and got arrested.
Oh, man. Yeah, but I guess we can get into a bit more of the topic here. I got it pulled up here on Google, and it says Victorian era in British history, the period between approximately 1820 and 1914, corresponding roughly but not exactly to the period of Queen Victoria's reign, 1837 through 1901, and characterized by a class-based society, a growing number of people able to vote, a growing state and economy, and Britain's status as the most. And then it says more up here in the history of the United Kingdom and the British Empire, the Victorian era was a period of Queen Victoria's reign from June 20th, 1837 until her death on January 22nd, 1901. Slightly different definitions are sometimes used. So that's like 64 years of all that. And so if we go down to a few questions people have asked Google, and people also ask is, what is the Victorian era known for? The Victorian era was a time of vast political reform and social change. The Industrial Revolution, authors Charles Dickens and Charles Darwin, a railway and shipping boom, profound scientific discovery, and the first telephone and telegraph. Interesting. And the second one here, what was the Victorian era called in America? The antebellum period, time before the Civil War, Reconstruction, and the Gilded Age? I think that's what it says. Can't freaking tell. Can't read. I failed the 5th grade, don't judge. Okay, so, what ended the Victorian era? Strictly speaking, the Victorian era began in 1837 and ended with the Queen Victoria's death in 1901, but the period can be stretched to include the years both before and after these dates, roughly from the Napoleonic Wars until the outbreak of World War I in 1914. Interesting. Why was it called Victorian Age? The Victorian era is named after Queen Victoria, who was queen from 1837 to 1901, yes we know. People who lived during the Victorian era are called Victorians. Before the 19th century, it used to take people 12 hours to travel between Birmingham and London if they were riding in a house-drawn coach. And last one, what were 3 facts about Victorian times? More than 1 million people died between 1845 and 1849 in the Irish potato famine. Queen Victoria gave birth to Prince Leopold and used chloroform to assist with the birth. Prince Albert, Victoria's husband, died of typhoid at the age of 42 in 1861. That's young. The first steam-powered fairground ride was introduced in 1865. Wow. So a lot of stuff has happened throughout the 64 years. Granted, that's kind of like a human lifetime, so close. I mean, the span of a human is like about 70 years, but people have lived longer than that too. Okay, let's
Studies are saying that fucking apparently Gen Z could be able to live as old as 140.
Jesus.
I hope not, bro. I want to go at 50. Basically, at 50, I think I've seen it all. I'll shotgun to the head.
Not my watch. Anyway.
Actually, alright, fine. I'll overdose on pills.
No. No. Alright.
Open casket, bro.
No.
Open casket.
The one thing JFK didn't have.
Neither another closed roof that could have saved his life.
Oh my god.
Bro should have got the convertible, just saying. He was in Texas, it was pretty hot out, he must have wanted that AC.
Oh man. Trying to find a... Because these ones are like documentaries, like an hour long and like 30 minutes. We don't need that.
God damn, no.
We just need like a 10-minute screen recording at least.
Try to search up like maybe the History Channel Victorian era, like those short ones.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Thank you, bro.
History, of course. History Channel. Okay.
Okay, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
I smoke too much, bro. I'm on that demon blunt rotation. I'm on the nightmare blunt rotation.
Oh god.
Motherfucking laughing like a dolphin, bro. Fucking My mom. Who are you talking so disrespectfully, calling slurs and Henry to? Me. That's my best friend. My brother.
Oh, I saw those videos.
Yeah. I love that because it describes it so fucking perfectly. Who's the guy that you were insulting for not having a dad? That's my best friend. I would fucking kill anyone for him just to keep him around with me, and I hate that he's not here.
Okay, so here's one. Filthy Secrets of Brothels of the Victorian Era.
There it goes. How long is it?
About 10 minutes, about as long as the screen recording.
Alright, yeah, it's from the History Channel, isn't it?
No, not the History Channel, but it's from a channel called Nutty History. Interesting. Alright, so I get a screen recording going. Starting the screen recording, 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's get right into it.
Oh, yeah,
History, literature, and pop culture like to portray the Victorian era as the golden standards of sophistication, class, and prudence. But often, the cleanest cloth is hiding the dirtiest secret. Today, the oldest trade in the history of humanity is perceived as a great social evil by many. But that infamous tag worn by the brothel industry was bestowed upon it only in the 19th century. There were more brothels and schools in London during the Victorian era. The propaganda led by newspapers and pamphlets against the industry gave the workers of the trade a bad name. This resulted in a hostile environment and a bad repute that resulted in cases like the infamous Victorian Jack. But did Victorian brothels deserve such hatred? Welcome to Nutty History, and today, let's find out how filthy brothels were during the Victorian era. In his 1857 report, Few Odd Characters of the London Streets, Henry Mayhew mentioned that around 8,600 women were working the trade in London. It was an estimation and a wrong one by miles. His estimation was based on how many women were known by the police to be in this line of work, but the actual number was far, far greater, 80,000. 80,000 women in London were occupied in the oldest profession known to mankind during the year 1857, the peak of the Victorian era. The popularity of the trade makes sense during Victorian times because the brothel industry had enjoyed a golden age during the 17th and 18th centuries, and it was still riding the high, despite changing perceptions of society. I mean, there was no better place to earn the money for the fairer gender. Say you are a well-educated woman at the height of the times when another prominent woman was ruling your country, and you were given ample opportunities to learn and be productive in society. However, there was a catch. Your gender still determined your wage, and not your efforts. Women who learn high-level skills in college, like typing and shorthand, because, let's be honest, who are we kidding, This is the 19th century, and we said ample opportunities, not the best opportunities because of gender bias. Even the women who made it to the top possible positions in reputable establishments only made an average of 25 shillings per year. It was nowhere close to supporting themselves or their children, and they were still largely dependent on their husbands' wages. In stark contrast, brothels offered them shorter hours and higher wages, and they were paid in cash. If you hit the genetic jackpot and happen to have good looks, this profession would offer much better odds of success in a short time. Brothels didn't just offer better working conditions, but also independence, and that's what made them so lucrative. While in modest London, you could only be a street vendor or shop girl, and if you are very, very lucky, you may end up as a household servant to a lord or their lady. But in brothels, even a low-class woman could find enough income to live like a lady herself. Well, not everyone, but they still could have a good life without being dependent on a male figure. So, how could one become as successful as a lady while working in the profession of the skin? Well, as we mentioned, not every woman in this profession could accomplish that status. In fact, there were 3 classes of professionals in the industry during the Victorian times. To achieve a lavish lifestyle like the nobility of the 19th century, the very first qualification in the brothel industry was to be really attractive. We're talking about Bella Hadid and Lupita Nyong'o's level of beauty here. Now that was an exaggeration, but you see what I'm saying, right? These women served only the elite, nobles and aristocrats, the members of the parliaments, people related to the royal family, the lords, the generals, and the cream of the crop of industrialists. Those sorts of wealthy people. Some were even exclusive, working only with single clients, as these courtesans would often end up as mistresses living with their clients' families, or sometimes they would end up marrying the clients too. Oh, happy endings. Yeah, in more than one way. These were, of course, the highest-rated courtesans. The middle class of brothel workers, like the high-level courtesans, didn't actually work in brothels. They were the women who preferred to work freelance. They would have their own apartment to serve a variety of clients, and some would also work on the streets as well. It came with the independence of choosing their clients and not having a boss, but on the flip side, there was no job security or protection that brothel workers had. They were quite prone to both infectious diseases and insane clients. This is why perhaps this class included a lot of married women whose husbands would work as their agents and protectors. Yeah, it may be a culture shock for our time, but this was a thing in Victorian London. A lot of street vendors had their wives working as cheap courtesans to make extra money to match the ever-growing demand for household expenditures. I mean, just look at Victorian fashion. Even rags during that age would have cost a fortune. Some wives readily agreed to work in the field, while others were forced by their husbands. And if you were a low-class single woman, this was the only way to stay afloat until you found a husband. Not to mention the profession helped with that as well. It was pretty much similar to how a lot of people these days have an entertainment account only for their fans. If you know, you know. The lowest class of brothel workers were the women who actually worked in brothels. They were forced to be with the men the madam selected for them, and they weren't allowed to deny services. The working and living conditions were poor, filthy, and unkempt. But madams also tried their best to keep their health in check to save them from venereal diseases, as these ailments were not only dangerous for the women's longevity as a worker, but also brought disrepute to the establishment.
What do you desire today?
On the surface, high-class courtesans to low-class brothel workers may have had their work cut from the same cloth. But not everybody likes to order vanilla when they go to an ice cream parlor. Isn't that the truth? Some people have a more exotic taste, like Rocky Road and British Glow ice cream. And some may not say it publicly, but could be closet gluttons for wasabi ice cream or ketchup-flavored ice cream. Ketchup. Well, we better not judge others, and neither did the brothels of the Victorian era. In fact, they looked at it as an opportunity and provided those exotic flavors. As we all know, Victorian times were quite prudent and judgmental, expecting everybody to behave and desire in a certain manner. Many men didn't get what they wanted from their significant others in their marriage. Most of them weren't even bold enough to mention it to their wives. And a certain number of them had desires that their wives were just biologically incapable of fulfilling. During the Victorian era, women were not allowed to have a liberal mindset when it comes to bedtime, so that explains a lot of stuff we just mentioned. But brothels were a place where there was no judgment regarding one's inhibitions, and one could get what they wanted, given they were in the right place. Brothels understood that, and they began dealing in expertise establishments that would offer exclusive services that were in demand. Themed brothels also had these establishments to keep their client lists private and avoid risky vagrants. Brothels would also publish their sporting guides or catalogs featuring their products. These books detailed brothel workers' profiles for the prospective clients to browse and choose women from the luxury of their homes before visiting an establishment. Profiles included ages, physical descriptions, personality types, and the cost of their service. One of the most famous guides was the Swells Guide through the Metropolis. In 2018, an extremely rare first edition of this guide was unearthed. It provides an eye-popping insight into the brothels of Victorian London.
Life as a brothel worker.
The 19th century may have been conservative in many ways, but it was liberal when it came to women's education. Even brothel workers received a formal education. However, the education for women was still limited to skills that made them attractive for marriage, not to enable them to actually earn a living. The majority of working-class women were unable to read or write. According to Henry Mayhew, only 5% of the low-class brothel workers were literate. They usually would ask their clients to read newspapers to them so they could stay up to date on current events. Higher-class courtesans, however, were skilled in many ways, like etiquette, dancing, drawing, and playing piano. But as they spent most of their time with members of parliament and such on work, they outgrew domestic homemaker women in terms of becoming more cultured and knowledgeable of the world around them. Another challenge as a brothel worker was the infectious diseases that were most commonly spread through young men in the military. Venereal disease was so common in the 1800s that it killed just as many military men as going to battle. This led to the passing of the Contagious Diseases Act in the British Parliament. Any woman suspected of dealing in coital services could be summoned to undergo an unavoidable medical examination. If it was discovered that she was infected, she would be forced into rehabilitation for the fallen women for up to 3 months. Although the risk of contracting venereal diseases was high in this industry, women working in brothels were actually much healthier than average working-class women because they did not have to endure a grueling 14-hour workday in factories. So, what do you think? Could you have survived life as a woman in the Victorian era? We hope you enjoyed the video. Please share and like it. And don't forget to subscribe to Nutty History for more amazing content.
So Kirby had to leave, but he might be coming back. Not exactly sure, but if he comes back, cool. If not, no worries. But yeah, just wait until the screen recording ends, and there it goes. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Alright, but give me a second here, guys. Anyways, guys, so alright, so yeah, that's interesting. A lot of stuff from the Victorian era and whatnot. I guess I'll just look at some more facts about it, I guess. Because there's a lot more questions on it. Okay, but What are the three main characteristics of the Victorian era? The Victorian era in British history, the period between approximately 1820 and 1914, corresponding roughly but not exactly to the period of Queen Victoria's reign, 1837-1901, and characterized by a class-based society, a growing number of people to vote, and growing state and economy, and Britain's status as the most. Okay, so what was it like to be a woman in the Victorian era? Victorians believed that a woman's proper and only place was to be within a household environment. The women were expected to marry, have children, and keep a nice household. Those were the only acceptable rules for women during that era. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like one of the things that, I mean, it sounds like we're right around those times, really. They, you know, I don't know, just like, that was just weird times, like, just how things were back then, you know, like, like, the 18 and 19, you know. Oh, I think Kirby's back.
Fuck?
We had Zach here first.
All of them for a second.
Yeah.
No, so sorry. The reason why I ended the call, I'm pissed because my sister basically ate all my fucking ice cream.
Jeez.
And I called her about it. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And then she's like, but I gave you 40. It's like, bro, I was driving you around.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's what Zach doing.
I'm making a little bit of work right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking delicious, I tell you. Oh, it's with the best fucking root beer ever.
Yeah, I guess Zach's at his grandmother's.
Her grandma's basically one foot in the coffin. He could call.
Jesus.
Basically at a funeral, bro.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, so we got Hunter in New Mexico right now, and we have Zach at his grandmother's. Oh, man. Oh. But I do want to address, I really do need to get this room to look like a room, because you guys have always seen like a white blank wall behind me. So I just need to get this room set up, like put LEDs around, my posters and whatnot, and just make it look more like a good room instead of you guys staring at a freaking blank white wall behind me. Cause I know it's kind of lame, and I got all this shit over here. I got a lot of shit in here that I haven't taken care of yet because I haven't focused on it because I've been lazy. I'll admit it. But yeah. Thinking we should set up for another screen recording. Not sure on what though, but I'm still looking for another video. Oh man. Hidden History of the Bull Street Asylum? What the fuck? Sounds intense.
Sounds like fucking Pennywise.
Man. I guess we could do one more screen recording and This one is, what beauty was like in the Victorian era? Could do that.
With top.
Okay, it's from the same channel, Nutty History. Okay, so start a new screen recording. 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's get right into it.
I can wait.
With top secret makeup
First time in,
compartments,
like,
arsenic
forever.
baths, and burned off freckles, being beautiful in the Victorian era was anything but easy and breezy. Today, on Nutty History, we're examining beauty standards in Victorian England. The feminine ideal of the famously modest period was to look like a wilting, delicate flower. To pull off this dead rose look, Victorian women used a variety of methods which ranged from peculiar to poisonous.
Bro, you want some?
Don't try these at home, folks. But before we sharpen our eye pencils, please subscribe to our channel and let us know what odd occurrences you'd like to hear about next. You might think that with the beloved female ruler, women of the time would be free to discuss their beauty practices and openly wear makeup. Not so much. Queen Victoria and Victorian society as a whole deemed makeup the scandalous paint of actresses and prostitutes. A good and moral woman should avoid makeup altogether and just look naturally beautiful according to society's very strict guidelines.
How dare you!
Victorian women found themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. They were expected to be beautiful by looking a very specific way, but were judged or critiqued for wearing makeup to help them look that way. Sounds familiar. Many Victorian women still used makeup, but they kept their habit hidden as a shameful secret. This led some to avoid purchasing products, opting for bizarre and even lethal home concoctions instead. Others would hide makeup in prescription bottles or secret compartments within their medicine chests. Who knew Estee Lauder could be so James Bond? In a final step of their top secret makeup mission, many Victorian women applied it subtly, hoping to appear as if they weren't wearing any at all.
The nature beauty routine was very unnatural.
Since the sentiment of the time favored natural beauty over makeup, women were encouraged to become beautiful through their attitude and lifestyle instead. Daily habits were thought to give women the desired look of the era. For instance, engaging in a walk or physical activity for rosy cheeks, waking up early for brighter lips, or eating a light diet to discourage pimples. Negative traits like jealousy or laziness were thought to cause poor appearance, as well as troublesome activities like playing cards or reading novels. The horror! Besides behavioral changes, Victorians had a laundry list of other bizarre tactics to make oneself more beautiful, sans makeup. To prevent aging, women would sleep with slices of raw beef or other animal fats laid over their face. While probably unsanitary and definitely disgusting, this wasn't the worst of it. Arsenic was recommended to increase beauty and lighten the complexion, leading women to regularly snack on arsenic wafers and even bathe in the poison. While the ill effects of some chemicals used during the time weren't yet understood, Victorians knew that arsenic was toxic. Am I missing something here? Ingesting small amounts of arsenic over time might not kill you immediately, but it can cause a dependency and a host of health problems, like nervous system and kidney damage. Well, that's one way to get that half-dead appearance.
Pale as a ghost.
Today, the medical community has to constantly warn people of the dangers of sun damage, but women in the Victorian era had no desire for bronzers and spray tans. The goal instead was to maintain a ghostly pale complexion. The sicklier you looked, the better. This pale skin was a sign of wealth and nobility, as these women could languish on their
While you're
fainting
doing
rounds
that,
all
I'm trying
day
to move
instead
my
of
eyebrows in
working
a
in the
way.
sun.
Fucking
Tuberculosis, a common disease of the time, also gave some suffering women a death-like
That's clean
pallor
though, look
that
at
was
that.
actually considered attractive. Some achieved this coveted corpse look by simply
Hey, girl,
staying
you wanna
indoors
go back
and
to
using
my place?
parasols to block the sun whilst out and about. For those with a more dedicated beauty regime, face creams and powders were meant to whiten the face both temporarily and more permanently. These often contained dangerous substances like lead, and the crowd favorite, arsenic. So for some, the daily skincare routine was literally rubbing poison on their face. In an effort to make the skin appear more translucent, many women also drew on themselves with blue pencil to create the illusion of veins. So gross. Why do you want to look all veiny?
Burned out their blemishes.
Any markings or freckles were unsightly to the Victorian eye. One option was to try to cover them up using the lead-based foundation. But for a more long-lasting and makeup-free approach, Victorian beauty guides recommended bleaching the skin, or, in stubborn cases, covering the area in lemon juice or carbolic acid and burning off your freckles in the sun.
Ow!
We're no experts, but that cannot be good for you.
A rat's nest.
Victorian women were expected to have long, curled hair, which was seen as seductive. However, they had to keep their hair up, or partially up, in complicated do's, as a woman was only supposed to let her hair down in the presence of her husband. Victorian women didn't really wash their hair, or at least that's not what we'd call it. They did use ammonia and onion juice as a means of maintenance and to keep those tresses shiny. The accumulated grease probably also helped. The use of ammonia and their general fondness for ingesting poisons caused hair loss and scalp conditions for many Victorian women who were actually seeking the opposite outcome. To remedy thinning hair or bald patches, women used loose hair from their combs to create hair rats, which they would use as a sort of makeshift toupee. Added hair pieces also contributed to the overall grandeur of their updos. The desired look was a waist the size of your head. So, best to make the head as big as possible.
A crime against fashion.
That's not to say that Victorian women didn't also try to achieve impossibly small waist sizes. While fashions changed throughout the era, corsets were a popular clothing item of the time to help women achieve that sought-after hourglass figure. Since women are in fact humans and not hourglasses, these undergarments were often restrictive and uncomfortable. Tight-lacing corsets, which made simple tasks like breathing a difficulty, grew in popularity toward the end of the 19th century. Some Victorian women even began tight-lace training their daughters, putting them in increasingly stricter ties to get their body to shrink into the mold. While the waist was pulled inward, breast padding and bustles were used to make other areas appear more voluptuous. Outside of the rigorous fashion requirements, women's bodies were subject to intense societal expectations. During the early mid-Victorian era, a woman was expected to be pleasantly plump, without being overweight or too thin. Being overweight was increasingly shamed in the latter part of the period. To lose weight, women would often resort to dangerous methods like cocaine, tapeworms, and, you guessed it, arsenic.
Arsenic.
As far as facial features went, dark, bright eyes, red lips, and rosy cheeks were considered beautiful. Of course, once again, all those were difficult to achieve without a Sephora nearby, but Victorian women certainly got creative. To darken their eyes, Victorian women often rubbed soot on their eyelashes as mascara and mixed coal or burnt toast with milk as eyeliner. That's taking the smoky eye to a whole new level. If those techniques sound hardcore, it's nothing compared to the women who squeezed lemon juice or perfume into their eyes to make them watery. Some even used belladonna eye drops, made from what else but a deadly nightshade. Belladonna can literally make you go blind. But what's a little permanent blindness in exchange for a dewy and shiny eye? For rosier cheeks, many women used beet juice for its natural coloring. And in the pre-Kylie lip kit world, ground-up beetles were a premium lip stain choice. It might sound gross, but at least that one wasn't life-threatening. Are you wondering what lengths Victorian men had to go through to be considered attractive? Shorter hair was in style for men throughout most of the era, and facial hair was seen as a sign of masculinity. Yep,
There.
that's it. There's nothing else. Beauty may be a pain, but we think poisoning yourself might be crossing the line. Let us know in the comments if you'd be sitting pretty during the Victorian era, or opt out to be an ugly novel-reading beast.
I don't know.
We
man.
know which
When
one
I'm
we
watching my
choose.
mustache now, bro, chicks would be digging me. Bro, especially because I'm German, bro.
Yeah, I'm German too.
No, you're not. You're Johnny Cash.
Johnny Cash.
You fell into a burning ring of fire. It went down, 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 and the flames flew higher.
Oh man. Just
And
like
it burns,
okay.
burns, burns.
So
Bring it.
there goes that screen recording. Alright, so then I got the screen recordings in, and we're in the last 10 minutes. The last 10 minutes of all this.
No fucking way.
Sure.
Oh my god. I found.
Oh, I need to stretch. Sitting down for too long. Oh man. Okay. Oh. So yeah, guys, this is just another kind of like laid back episode. I don't know.
Honestly, I like it.
And I still can't believe it's freaking June, man. Like, where is the year going? Like,
I know where it's going.
what?
2024.
The year I'm supposed to graduate.
Don't do that. Don't give me hope.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know that. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I always get like mind blown whenever June hits, because I feel like that's like the actual like middle point of the entire year, or like the half point. And just like seeing like what else would we want to do for like the next half of the year to make it enough to make it feel like a good year, you know. Ugh, I'm kind of tired myself. I know we kind of started on this late, but fun fact, literally me and like Kirby like talked for like an hour before we actually got started, so that's why the podcast seems like laid back.
It's 10:45 for me right now, bro.
Yeah, it's 12:45 for me right now.
God,
Yeah.
the other reason why it might suck is that when you're trying to do the podcast now, it's no longer gonna be like 9 o'clock for me. It's gonna be like fucking 7,
Yeah.
like 6 or 7.
Yeah. Somewhere around there. But stay tuned for more good videos and better podcast episodes, because it'll be it's less than a month before I leave for Colorado, so just stay tuned for all of that. And I'm gonna try to be we're gonna try to be like flexible with, like, you know, who'll be there and who won't for a period of time. You know, we'll figure something out ahead of time for you guys, because, you know, we have a blast doing these kinds of things for you guys. And not only is it fun for us, but we hope you guys enjoy it too, because it's fun for us, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It seems like you guys do, because, you know, we wouldn't keep on doing it if you guys didn't. So yeah, and I have a lot more of ideas for this summer. Like, I have a lot of ideas. Some stuff is similar stuff we've done, and some stuff is stuff we haven't done yet. So, like, fresh new stuff. So that's exciting. And yeah, so I just hope you guys are going to have a great summer. Let's make this summer very fun and whatnot. And let's just make it fun, yeah. Oh. But I know we're in like the final few minutes, but I've been holding in this piss for like an hour, so I'm just going to go take a quick piss real quick.
Go fried roast chicken, piss boy.
Oh my god.
Delectable. It's like a reward. Do I want to drizzle maple syrup into my mouth? Out of impulse, yes. But out of rationality.
I'm back. Feel much better.
Do you, piss boy?
Piss boy.
Piss boy. I bet you piss loud as fuck, don't you?
I probably do, yeah.
I bet you leave the door open for everyone to hear down the hallway. You loud as fuck, pisser boy.
No, I don't. I actually do close the door, unlike you, so.
What do you mean I always closed it out?
No, you don't. There's been times I would walk past, like, back at the old house, I would literally, like, walk past the fucking bathroom.
That never accusations. These lies on my name.
No, but literally, I would be walking past the freaking bathroom downstairs right by my room. And I would be walking past, and I didn't think anyone was in the bathroom because it was so quiet, and the doors just randomly open with the light on, and I walk by and I look over, and you're just taking a shit, and you look at me and you're like, oh, hey. you acted like it was like the most normal thing, and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I was so caught off guard.
It's because me and my sibling do it because we're so used to, like, always needing to quickly use the bathroom. That we leave the door open sometimes. It's just a very average thing that, like, we walk by each other while we're using the restroom because we're just in there for a quick minute, or because we're just too lazy to close the door. But we always close it if we're, like, showering.
Yeah.
But I'll admit, I like walking around my house naked.
I could never do that.
What?
I could never do that.
Yeah, because one of your parents are always home.
Yeah. Well, even if I was home alone, I wouldn't want to do that.
Dude, it's so. Oh, you should randomly do that one day. You should just randomly get naked and walk around your house when your dogs are in their fucking kennels, you pervert.
Why you call me a pervert?
Always been a pervert. I got a pervert.
Oh my god. But anyways, guys.
I'm kept in the cave looking for diamonds. That's funny. I'm in the same cave looking for minors because my sexual attraction for minors is major. Ever since I was a child, I fucking molested adults.
Okay, anyways, I think that's a good point to end off of. So,
yeah, that was a fucking rap, like an old fucking rap from the TikTok trend.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button and hit the subscribe if you hadn't already. And stay tuned for podcast episodes every Saturday for the Saturdays with the Boys podcast. And hit the link in the description. Go to my main channel, subscribe to my main channel if you haven't already. Get me to 300 subscribers by the end of 2023. If we don't hit that goal this year, that's okay. There's always more room for improvement. And but at the end of the day, we're still gonna try to make it that goal. So we about have another half of this year to go until we do that. So I hope we can do that. And yeah, so and yeah, is there anything you want to say, Curry, before we end off? and yeah, that's.
Oh fuck! Ow.
And there you have it. So, anyways, guys, love the hell out of you guys. Stay tuned for more content, more podcast content. Stay tuned for more regular content and gaming content on my main channel. And as always, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye bye.
Deuces.
Trapping.